Raise your hand if you hate weeding in the summer. I think as it turns July and our weeds can get out of control and the weather becomes really terrible to enjoy, we tend not to want to physically go out there and pull, and some people default to just spraying chemicals. But as we addressed the other day, those chemicals can obviously harm all the wildlife that interacts with your garden. It can also harm your ornamental plants that you didn't mean to hurt with those chemicals, even though they advertise that they won't. Sometimes they still do. Another thing is, like we talked about the other day, that stuff ends up in our waterways, our drinking water, in the fish we eat, and the water we like to swim and play in. So ultimately, spraying chemicals is not really a sustainable solution. Also, you're spending time and money still on the garden in the summertime when you should really just be relaxing in the evening out there. So one way to avoid weeds is to put in green mulch, and native ground covers are an amazing option for green mulch. And what green mulch basically is just like the name suggests, is it does the job of mulch, but it's not something you have to replace all the time like mulch. And it creates a system with the plants that it's around where it holds in moisture to the soil and keeps it from just readily evaporating as we enter hot temperatures. And it can also help with weed suppression, like I mentioned, as they cover up the bare open spaces of dirt that allow for weed seeds to germinate. This green mulch will cover those areas and make sure that the weed seeds cannot germinate. Open disturbed soil is the easiest way for weeds to come in and germinate, and that's why the feeling of pulling weeds can feel so overwhelming, is that you pull a weed one day and the next day there's a weed almost right back in that space, and that's because weed seeds germinate very quickly in open disturbed soil. So they're very advantageous. So it's very important to look for green mulch and plant those in areas where you don't want to weed anymore. I highly recommend planting them pretty much everywhere, so you can avoid spending money and time on mulching in the spring and fall, and you can avoid weeding in the summer. We carry lots of different evergreen ground cover options that are native. This is one for shade. I often recommend Phlox subulata for sun. If you want to look up creeping phlox or Phlox subulata, you'll find that there's a lot of different colors for all different palettes. We carry the straight species as well as many different cultivars, depending on what you're looking for. This right here is Sedum ternatum, the straight species woodland stone crop. It gets a white starry bloom on it in the spring. About to the summertime, very low maintenance, and once again, great for dry shade. This can go all around your trees and shrubs in your shaded areas and take care of your weeding problems for you.